Episode 22, The Weight of Recognition. The docking clamps released with a hydraulic hiss that Dex felt through 17 dimensions at once. In normal space, it was just metal on metal, pressure equalizing, the standard procedure he'd witnessed 1,000 times from maintenance corridors. But in the overlapping realities his precursor-altered perception now inhabited permanently, he saw the quantum states of every molecule shifting. The probability waves of air particles collapsing into definite positions, the electromagnetic fields of the station's systems interfacing with the Nightingales in patterns that looked almost like recognition. It was beautiful. It was overwhelming. And it would never stop. "You're doing that thing again," Elara said softly, her hand finding his. "Where you drift away." Dex blinked, forcing himself to focus on the 3 dimensions that mattered most, the ones where she existed beside him, where her fingers interlaced with his, where her concern was written in the slight crease between her eyebrows. "Sorry, it's just, I can see the station's power grid, all of it, every circuit, every relay. I used to have to trace them with a multimeter." "Is it getting easier?" She squeezed his hand. "To filter it out?" "No." He met her eyes, needing her to understand. "But I'm getting better at choosing what to pay attention to. That's not the same thing." The Nightingale's internal calm crackled to life. Admiral Strand's voice, tired but steady. "Docking complete. Bay 17 is secure, but I've got 3 separate delegations demanding immediate access to you both. The Galactic Assembly has sent an envoy. The Vexian Trade Consortium wants to verify the Crucible's destruction. And about 200 journalists have somehow gotten credentials for the docking level." "Journalists," Elara muttered. "Perfect. I'm sending a security detail to escort you to Conference Room 7, Strand continued. "We'll debrief there before anyone else gets their claws into you. And Dex?" A pause. "Welcome home. Try not to unmake reality on the way to the conference room." The comm clicked off. Dex looked at Elara, saw his own apprehension reflected in her expression. "He's joking about that last part, right?" "Probably." She stood, pulling him up with her. "But let's not test it. Come on, time to face the music." The airlock cycled open, and Dex's first breath of station air hit him with unexpected force. He'd been gone 3 weeks, barely any time at all, but it felt like coming home after years. The recycled atmosphere with its faint metallic tang, the background hum of ventilation systems, the smell of too many people living in too small a space. He'd spent 6 years of his life maintaining these systems, invisible and unremarked. Now he was the most visible person in the galaxy. The security detail was waiting. 8 Marines in full combat armor, weapons ready but not aimed. Their sergeant, a woman with lieutenant bars and a no-nonsense expression, stepped forward. "Dr. Voss, Mr. Holloway, I'm Lieutenant Sarah Kane. Admiral's orders are to get you to Conference 7 with minimal exposure. We've cleared a route through maintenance corridors." Dex almost laughed. Of course Strand would route them through maintenance. The man understood exactly what Dex needed right now. A few more minutes of anonymity, a path through the familiar spaces where he'd once belonged. "Lead the way, Lieutenant," Elara said. They moved through the station in a tight formation, Marines at every angle. Dex watched the familiar corridors slide past. Level 23, Section D, the route he'd walked 1,000 times with his cleaning cart. But now he saw it differently. Not just the 3-dimensional space, but the quantum foam underneath reality. The probability fields that determined whether a particular air molecule would be here or there. The entangled particles that connected every atom to every other atom in a web of correlation that spanned the entire station. He saw a maintenance panel he'd replaced 4 months ago. Saw the quantum signature of his own fingerprints, still present in the metal's electron cloud. A ghost of his past self preserved in probability. "You okay?" Elara whispered. "I can see where I used to exist," he said. "It's strange, like I'm haunting my own life." They passed a junction where 2 other corridors intersected, and Dex saw something that made him stop. The Marines tensed, hands moving to weapons, but he held up a hand. "Wait, someone's watching us." Lieutenant Kane's eyes narrowed. "Where?" Dex pointed to a ventilation grate 15 meters down the left corridor. "There, I can see their body heat signature across multiple spectrums, and their quantum state is anxious, excited, not hostile." "How the hell can you?" Kane stopped herself, keyed her comm. Team 2, check vent junction 23D7, possible observer. A moment later, got him, Lieutenant, civilian, journalist credentials, but they're fake. He's asking if he can get a statement from Mr. Holloway. Negative. Detain him for credential fraud. Kane looked at Dex with something between respect and unease. That's quite a talent, sir. It's not a talent, Dex said quietly. It's just what I am now. They continued through the maintenance corridors, and Dex felt the weight of the station pressing down on him. 50,000 people living their lives, each one a quantum probability function collapsed into consciousness, each one mattering in ways they'd never understand. He'd been one of them once. Now he could see the threads that connected them all, the shared air they breathed, the energy they consumed, the waste they produced, the dreams they dreamed in the sleeping quarters. He could see everything, and he couldn't turn it off. Conference Room 7 was in the command section, a secure space with no windows and enough shielding to block most surveillance. Admiral Strand was waiting inside, looking older than Dex remembered. 3 weeks had aged him years, lines deeper around his eyes, more gray in his hair, a tiredness in his posture that spoke of too many decisions with too little sleep. "Close the door," Strand said. "And Lieutenant Kane, no one comes in. I don't care if the Galactic Assembly envoy threatens to start a war. This conversation happens first." "Yes, sir." Kane sealed the door behind them. Strand studied them both for a long moment, then shook his head. "You look like hell, both of you. When's the last time you slept?" "Define sleep," Elara said. "If you mean actual rest, probably 4 days ago. If you mean unconsciousness while our brains process trauma, maybe 30 hours. Sit." Strand gestured to chairs around the conference table. "Before we get into the political nightmare waiting outside, I need to know, are you both all right? And I mean actually all right, not the version where you say you're fine because that's what soldiers do." Dex sat, felt Elara's hand find his under the table. "I destroyed something 3 million years old," he said. "I've been tested by beings that exist outside time. I can see across 17 dimensions simultaneously, and I'll never be able to stop. And apparently I'm now the most dangerous person in the galaxy to anyone who wants certainty about the future." He paused. "So no, sir, I'm not all right, but I'm functional." "Functional is a start." Strand turned to Elara. "Doctor?" "I watched the man I love face down the Precursors themselves," she said. "I watched him refuse to become what they wanted him to be. I watched him stay human when he could have transcended into something else. And now I'm watching the galaxy decide whether to worship him or destroy him." She squeezed Dex's hand. "So no, I'm not all right either, but I'm not leaving his side." Strand nodded slowly. "Good, because you're going to need each other for what comes next." He pulled up a holographic display, and Dex saw the political landscape of the Galactic Assembly spread out in complex networks of alliance and opposition. The Cretharium Swarm's public announcement that you destroyed the Crucible has created 3 major factions among the member species. The display shifted, highlighting different species in different colors. The first faction, about 20 species, including the Cretharium, sees you as a hero who prevented galactic catastrophe. They want to honor you, study you, possibly recruit you for their own purposes. The Lumineth Matriarch has been advocating for you with this group, which helps. The second faction, Strand continued, and the display showed another cluster, about 30 species, sees you as a dangerous unknown. They're not hostile, but they want you contained, monitored, possibly restricted in your movements. They're afraid of what you can do, and fear makes people do stupid things. "And the third faction?" Dex asked, though he could already see where this was going. 23 species who want you dead." Strand's expression was grim. "They believe the Crucible should have been claimed, not destroyed. They think you've denied the galaxy access to precursor technology that could have solved everything from disease to energy scarcity. Some of them had their own plans for the Crucible, and now those plans are dust." Elara leaned forward. "What about humanity? Where do we stand?" "Complicated." Strand pulled up another display showing Earth's government structure. "The Colonial Assembly has officially condemned the conspiracy and thanked you both for preventing catastrophe. But there are factions within human space who see Chen and his people as patriots who were trying to secure humanity's future. They're calling the Crucible's destruction an act of treason. Treason, Dex repeated. I stopped a weapon that would have consumed consciousness on a galactic scale. I know, but to them, you destroyed humanity's chance at supremacy. Strand closed the display. There's going to be a formal inquiry. Multiple inquiries, actually. Human, galactic assembly, probably a few species-specific investigations. You'll need to testify repeatedly about everything that happened, and every word you say will be analyzed by people looking for reasons to either canonize you or crucify you. Dex felt the weight of it settling on his shoulders. He'd thought destroying the Crucible would be the hard part. Now he was learning that surviving the aftermath might be harder. There's something else, Strand said quietly. The Lumineth matriarch wants to speak with you. Privately, she says it's urgent. About what? She wouldn't say. But I've learned not to ignore the matriarch when she says something is urgent. Strand stood. I can give you an hour before the delegations start demanding access. Use it to rest, eat, or do whatever you need to do. But after that, the circus begins. He moved toward the door, then stopped. Dex, one more thing. Garrett Cole has been asking about you every day since you left. He knows something happened. He's not stupid, but he doesn't know what. You might want to talk to him before he hears it from the news feeds. The mention of Garrett hit Dex harder than he expected. His mentor, his friend, the man who'd taught him how to be invisible and content with small things. What would Garrett think of what he'd become? I'll find him, Dex said. Good. Strand opened the door, then paused. For what it's worth, you did the right thing. Both of you. The galaxy doesn't know it yet, but you saved us all. He left, Lieutenant Kane and her security detail following. The door sealed, leaving Dex and Elara alone in the conference room. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Elara turned to him, her hand still in his. How are you really? She asked. Terrified, he admitted. I can destroy reality with a thought. I can see across dimensions. I can perceive things no human was meant to perceive. And now I have to go testify before the Galactic Assembly about how I destroyed a 3-million-year-old artifact. He looked at her. How do you explain to people who can't see what I see that the Crucible had to die? You tell the truth, she said, and you let them decide whether they believe you. That's all you can do. What if they don't? What if they decide I'm too dangerous to live? Then we deal with that together. She moved closer, her other hand coming up to touch his face. You're not alone in this, Dex. You've never been alone. Not since the moment we met in that corridor and you helped me understand what I was seeing in the Cretharium data. He remembered that moment. Her frustration, his curiosity, the beginning of something neither of them had expected. It felt like a lifetime ago. It felt like yesterday. I love you, he said. I don't say it enough, but I need you to know. I know. She kissed him, soft and gentle. I love you too, and we're going to get through this. One testimony at a time. One inquiry at a time. One day at a time. The door chimed. Dex pulled back, saw through the metal to the quantum signature of the person on the other side. It's the matriarch, he said. She's early. Elara straightened her uniform. Then let's not keep her waiting. The door opened, and essence of dawn light flowed into the room, her crystalline form shifting between states of matter in ways that defied conventional physics. Dex saw her across all 17 dimensions at once, a being of pure energy held together by will and ancient knowledge, existing in multiple states simultaneously. Dex Holloway, the matriarch said, her voice resonating in harmonics that normal humans couldn't hear. But Dex heard them all, felt them vibrating through his transformed consciousness. You have passed tests that would have destroyed lesser beings. The Watchers have carried their message to the Precursors, and the galaxy knows your name. I didn't want the galaxy to know my name, Dex said. I wanted to clean maintenance corridors and be left alone. That life is gone, the matriarch said, not unkindly. You cannot return to invisibility, but you can choose what you do with visibility. She moved closer, her light casting prismatic patterns on the walls. I have come to offer you a choice, Dex Holloway. The Lumineth have watched your species for 3 centuries, waiting to see if humanity would mature beyond its violent adolescence. You have shown us something we did not expect, the ability to refuse power when offered, to choose uncertainty over control, to remain human in the face of transcendence. What kind of choice? Elara asked. The matriarch's light pulsed. The Lumineth wished to sponsor humanity for full membership in the Council of Ascended Species, a group of civilizations who have moved beyond conquest and consumption to pursue knowledge and enlightenment. It is an honor rarely offered, and never to species as young as yours. Dex felt his heart skip. Because of what I did? Because of what you refused to do, the matriarch corrected. The Crucible offered you power beyond imagining. The Precursors offered you transcendence. You refused both. That refusal speaks to a wisdom your species has not shown before. She paused, but there is a condition. You, Dex Holloway, must serve as humanity's representative to the Council. You must speak for your species in matters of cosmic importance. You must be the bridge between humanity and the Ascended. No, Dex said immediately. I'm not a diplomat. I'm not a representative. I'm a maintenance worker who got in over his head. You are a being who can perceive 17 dimensions and refuses to claim certainty about the future, the matriarch said. You are exactly what the Council needs, what humanity needs. He needs time, Elara said firmly. He just destroyed an ancient artifact and survived a test that could have erased him from existence. You can't expect him to make a decision like this right now. The matriarch's light dimmed slightly. Time is a luxury we may not have. The factions Admiral Strand described are already moving. Some will try to claim you, others to contain you, still others to eliminate you. The Council's sponsorship would protect you from most of these threats. But the offer expires when you leave this station. Once you return to human space without Council protection, you become vulnerable. Dex looked at Elara, saw his own conflict reflected in her eyes. Protection in exchange for service. Safety in exchange for responsibility. It was a cage, even if it was a gilded one. How long do I have to decide? He asked. Until the inquiries are complete, the matriarch said. Perhaps 3 days, perhaps less, if events accelerate. She moved toward the door, then stopped. One more thing, Dex Holloway. The Precursors are watching you still. They observe from their transcendent state, curious about what you will become. They cannot interfere. They have learned that lesson, but they watch, and they hope you will show them a path they never considered. She flowed through the door without opening it, leaving Dex and Elara alone again. 3 days, Elara said, to decide the rest of your life. Our lives, Dex corrected. If I do this, you're coming with me. I'm not facing the Council of Ascended Species without you. Damn right I am. She pulled him close. But Dex, are you sure you want to even consider this? It's everything you've spent your life avoiding. Visibility, responsibility, power. I know. He rested his forehead against hers. But maybe that's why I need to consider it. Maybe refusing power when I didn't want it was easy. The hard part is accepting responsibility when I do want to refuse it. The door chimed again. This time, Dex saw through it to a familiar quantum signature. Older, tired, but unmistakably Garrett Cole. It's Garrett, he said. I need to talk to him. Elara nodded. I'll give you two some privacy. I need to check in with the xenolinguistics department anyway. See what kind of chaos I'm returning to. She kissed him once more. Don't make any decisions without me. Never. She left, and Garrett entered. The older man looked at Dex for a long moment, taking in the changes, the exhaustion, the new weight in his eyes, the way he held himself differently now. Kid, Garrett said finally, you look like you've been through hell. Multiple hells, actually, Dex said. Some of them in dimensions you can't perceive. Garrett sat heavily in one of the conference chairs. Strand told me some of it. Classified, he said, but I'd find out soon enough when the news feeds got hold of the story. Something about you destroying an ancient weapon and saving the galaxy. He shook his head. And here I thought you were just going on a classified research mission. It started that way, Dex said. He sat across from Garrett, seeing his mentor across 17 dimensions, the quantum states that defined him, the probability waves of his consciousness, the entangled particles that connected him to everyone he'd ever touched. It got complicated. Complicated, Garrett repeated. That's one word for it. He leaned forward. Dex, I need to know, are you okay? And I don't mean physically, I mean up here. He tapped his temple. Because I've seen what happens to people who go through things like this. I've seen soldiers come back from the Crytherium Wars with that same look in their eyes. Like they're seeing things the rest of us can't. I am seeing things you can't, Dex admitted. I can see across multiple dimensions now. It's permanent. I can't turn it off. He met Garrett's eyes. I'm not the same person who left 3 weeks ago. I don't know if I'll ever be that person again. Garrett was quiet for a moment. Then, you know what I told you when you first started working maintenance? I said the job wasn't about cleaning floors or fixing pipes. It was about seeing what other people miss, finding the small problems before they become big ones. I remember. Well, seems to me you're still doing that, just on a bigger scale. Garrett smiled sadly. I always knew you were meant for more than maintenance, kid. I just hoped you'd have more time before the galaxy figured it out. I don't want more, Dex said. I wanted exactly what I had. I wanted to be invisible and useful and content. But you weren't content, Garrett said gently. You were hiding. There's a difference. He stood, moved to the window that looked out over the station's interior. I hid too, after my wife died. Buried myself in work. Told myself I was happy, but I wasn't. I was just afraid of feeling anything again. He turned back to Dex. You're afraid too. Afraid of what you've become. Afraid of what people will expect from you. Afraid of losing yourself in all of this. But Dex, you can't hide from what you are anymore. The galaxy knows your name now. Question is, what are you going to do with that? Dex felt tears threatening. I don't know, Garrett. I don't know how to be this person. Then figure it out one day at a time, Garrett said. Same way you learned maintenance. Start with the basics. What do you want? I want Elara safe. I want the people I care about protected. I want to make sure what happened with the Crucible never happens again. That's a start. Garrett put a hand on Dex's shoulder. The rest will come. And kid, whatever you decide, whatever you become, you'll still be the person who spent 6 years cleaning floors and fixing pipes because it needed doing. That part of you doesn't go away just because you can see across dimensions now. The door chimed again. Lieutenant Kane's voice came through the comm. Mr. Holloway, the Galactic Assembly envoy is demanding to speak with you. I can't hold them off much longer. Dex looked at Garrett, then at the door, then back at his mentor. Thank you, he said, for everything, for teaching me how to see what others miss, for being patient with me, for being here now. Always, kid. Garrett headed for the door. Now go face the galaxy. Show them what a maintenance worker can do when he stops hiding. Garrett left, and Dex stood alone in the conference room, feeling the weight of what was coming. The inquiries, the testimonies, the decision about the Council of Ascended Species, the factions that wanted him dead or controlled or worshipped. He could see it all stretching out before him across multiple probability streams. Futures where he accepted the matriarch's offer, futures where he refused, futures where he tried to disappear again and failed, futures where he became something he didn't recognize. But he couldn't see which future was right. The Precursors had tried to make him choose certainty, and he'd refused. Now he had to live with that refusal, making each choice as it came, accepting that he couldn't know the outcome until it happened. The door opened, and Admiral Strand appeared with a tall, four-armed Vexian diplomat whose scales shimmered with diplomatic protocol colors. Mr. Holloway, Strand said formally, may I present Ambassador Crystal of the Vexian Trade Consortium. She's the first of many who wish to speak with you about the Crucible's destruction. The Vexian's 4 eyes studied him with reptilian intensity. Dex Holloway, she said in accented standard. The being who unmade what was thought eternal. The consortium has questions. I imagine everyone has questions, Dex said. Indeed. Crystal's scales shifted to a color that meant formal inquiry. But ours are perhaps the most pressing. The Vexian people had invested considerable resources in planning for the Crucible's eventual discovery. Your destruction of it has created significant economic and political complications. I'm sorry for the economic complications, Dex said, keeping his voice level. But the Crucible would have consumed consciousness on a galactic scale. I'd say that's worth some financial disruption. Crystal's scales flickered, surprise perhaps, or anger. You speak with confidence for one so young and inexperienced in galactic politics. I speak with the confidence of someone who's been tested by beings that exist outside time, Dex replied, and found worthy. The Vexian diplomat's scales shifted again, this time to a color Dex didn't recognize, but he could see her quantum state, calculating, reassessing, deciding whether he was a threat or an opportunity. "Very well," she said finally. "The consortium will conduct its formal inquiry through proper channels. But know this, Dex Holloway, the galaxy is watching you. Every decision you make, every word you speak, will be analyzed and judged. You have become a symbol, whether you wish it or not." "I understand," Dex said. Crixtall left, and Strand closed the door behind her. "That went better than I expected," he said. "She could have been much more hostile." "She's waiting to see which way the political winds blow," Dex said. "I could see it in her quantum state. She's keeping her options open." Strand studied him. "This ability of yours, seeing quantum states, perceiving multiple dimensions, how much can you actually see?" "Everything," Dex admitted. "I can see the probability waves that determine where particles will be. I can see the entanglement between atoms. I can see the quantum foam that underlies reality. I can see people's intentions written in the way their consciousness collapses probability." He paused. "It's overwhelming, but it's also useful." "Useful," Strand repeated. "That's one word for it. Terrifying is another." He sat down, suddenly looking every one of his 67 years. "Dex, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest. Can you control these abilities? Can you prevent yourself from using them?" "I can choose not to act on what I see," Dex said carefully. "But I can't turn the perception off." "Why?" "Because there are going to be people, powerful people, who see you as a threat they can't contain. And they're going to argue that someone who can perceive and manipulate reality the way you can is too dangerous to exist." Strand met his eyes. "I need to know if you can prove them wrong." Dex thought about the Precursors test, about refusing to claim certainty, about choosing to remain human despite the temptation to transcend. "I can prove them wrong," he said, "but they have to be willing to see the proof. And from what you've told me about the factions that want me dead, I don't think they're interested in evidence." "No," Strand agreed. "They're not, which is why you need to decide about the Matriarch's offer. Council sponsorship would protect you from most direct threats, but it would also mean accepting a role you've spent your life avoiding." "I know." Dex stood, moved to the window. Outside, he could see the station's interior, the levels stacked on levels, the people moving through corridors, the ships docking and departing. 50,000 lives, each one a story, each one mattering. "Garrett told me I was hiding before, that I wasn't really content, just afraid." Was he right? Probably. Dex turned back to Strand. "But I'm more afraid now, because if I accept the Matriarch's offer, I stop being Dex Holloway, maintenance worker. I become Dex Holloway, representative to the Council of Ascended Species, and I don't know how to be that person." "None of us know how to be the people circumstances force us to become," Strand said. "We just do our best and hope it's enough." He stood. "You have 3 days before the inquiries conclude. Use them wisely. Talk to Elara. Talk to the Matriarch. Talk to yourself. And when you've decided, let me know. I'll support whatever choice you make. Even if I choose to refuse the Council's offer and take my chances with the factions that want me dead?" "Even then." Strand moved toward the door. "Though I'd prefer you choose to live. The galaxy needs people like you, Dex. People who can see what others miss and refuse to claim certainty about the future. We have too many who think they know exactly how things should be." He left, and Dex was alone again with his thoughts and his 17-dimensional perception and the weight of decisions he wasn't ready to make. His comm chimed. Elara's voice, "The Xenolinguistics department is a disaster. Apparently, I've been gone long enough for 3 new translation protocols to be implemented badly. I need at least 2 hours to fix this mess. Can you survive without me that long?" "I'll manage," Dex said. "Go save your department from itself." "Love you," she said, and disconnected. Dex stood in the empty conference room, looking out at the station he'd once called home, and tried to see his future across the probability streams that stretched out before him. But the Precursors had taught him something important. The future wasn't fixed. It was a web of possibilities, constantly collapsing and reforming based on the choices conscious beings made. He couldn't know what he would become. He could only choose, moment by moment, what he wanted to be. And right now, he wanted to be someone who could protect the people he loved, prevent what happened with the Crucible from happening again, and maybe, just maybe, show the galaxy that refusing power could be its own kind of strength. The door chimed again. Dex saw through it to a quantum signature he didn't recognize. Human, middle-aged, carrying the weight of authority and something else. Fear. Desperation. He opened the door. A woman stood there, wearing the insignia of a colonial assembly representative. Her eyes were red from crying, and she held a data pad like it was the only thing keeping her upright. "Mr. Holloway," she said, "my name is Representative Sarah Chen. I'm Admiral Chen's sister. I need to talk to you about what really happened on Cathara, about what my brother became and why." She paused. "Please, the official story says he was a traitor, but I knew him. I need to understand." Dex looked at her across 17 dimensions, saw the grief and confusion and desperate need for answers written in the quantum states of her consciousness. She wasn't here to condemn him. She was here to find meaning in her brother's death. "Come in," he said. "I'll tell you what I can." She entered and Dex closed the door, knowing that this conversation would be the first of many, that he would spend days, maybe weeks, explaining what happened on Cathara to people who could never fully understand, that he would be questioned and analyzed and judged by those who saw only 3 dimensions while he saw 17. But he would do it, because it was necessary, because people deserved answers, because refusing to engage with the consequences of his actions would be its own kind of hiding. The true test was beginning, just as the Lumineth matriarch had warned. And Dex suspected it would be harder than anything the Crucible or the Precursors had thrown at him. Because this test wasn't about power, or transcendence, or cosmic significance. It was about being human in the face of recognition, about maintaining himself when everyone wanted him to be something else, about finding purpose in visibility when he'd spent his life perfecting invisibility. He looked at Representative Chen, saw her grief and her questions, and began to speak. The words came slowly at first, then faster as he found his voice. Not the voice of a cosmic being or a destroyer of ancient artifacts, but the voice of Dex Holloway, a maintenance worker who'd been thrust into events beyond his understanding and somehow survived. It wasn't the voice of someone who had all the answers, but it was honest. And right now, honesty was all he had to offer. Outside the conference room, the galaxy watched and waited, ready to judge him for what he'd done and what he would become. Inside, Dex told the truth to a grieving woman who needed to understand why her brother had died. And in that moment, he realized something the Precursors had never understood. The greatest test wasn't about power or transcendence. It was about connection, about remaining human enough to feel another person's pain and care about easing it. That was the wisdom they had lost, and it was the wisdom Dex needed to hold on to, no matter what came next.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.